Today on the desk, Park Riverside in DC. It's right in the Navy Yards area, also known as the ballpark because it's next to the Washington Nationals MLB stadium. So right here is the ballpark, and you're literally on the exact street that is shut down for every home game, and that is walking with 60,000 people that are getting wasted at the baseball game. So if you don't like baseball, this is not the place to live for you. But you're right in the Navy Yards area that has really good restaurants, and it's very lively. There's a lot of bars, there's a lot of things to do. You got the soccer field not too far, you're by the water. Lately, Navy Yard has a bad rap because there's a lot of crime. And so yeah, the location it's one of the two hotbeds, industrial zone that got developed later. So if you're looking for an apartment and not to get too gouged and be around other young people, you want to live in this area. And so if we look a little bit closely, it's a new build, pretty big. It has a really nice rooftop pool. It's massive. It does the entire block. Yeah, so phase 1, 287 units. Phase 2, 308. All of this together, it's a huge complex, so it has 2 pools, and most likely, you have access to one pool if you live in one of the phases, and you have access to the other pool on the other phase. And 580 units, so let's just do some quick math on what we think that's worth today. 595 units, and let's see how much they're renting for, more or less. Okay, so you have really small units, 400 square feet at $1,800. Those are really profitable units because you're at, you're almost at $5 a foot, which for DC in these areas is really good. In Georgetown in the West End, like Kalorama, you might be above $5 a foot, but for like a brand new district like Navy Yard, that's a great price. And is the price the effective price? They're giving 2 months free and additional incentives when you tour. So if you're giving 2 months off, 1,800 square foot, $1,800 unit, most likely it's a 13-month lease. So you're thinking of, my price is $1,827 times, I'm going to be paying 11 months, but I got 2 months free, so I'm staying 13 months total. So my effective is $1,545 for a small 460 square foot studio, very affordable for DC. And price per square effective, you divide by 468, which is the square footage of the unit, you get $3.30 a unit for a really small unit, so that's a really good deal. Probably priced that way because a lot of units to lease, and I'm looking at it. There is a shit ton of units to lease here. Exactly how many? Let's find out. So once again, we go on to the subway. So we're gonna go Navy Yard, DC. 3,600 rentals available right now. So you're like really looking at an ultra competitive market. Ultra. For February 15th, moving in like less than a month, you have 2,400 rentals available. So you need to stand out, definitely. You really need to do something. So let's go and look at, so on the exact block of Park Riverside, there's 130 units available. You have a competing building right next to it, so you have a big issue to solve. And this is February 15th in less than a month. So this isn't like just your turnover of your leasing season in the summer. This is like a now problem. Did a first lease up with a tremendous amount of concessions, and unfortunately they're turning as they're trying to lean off of concessions, which makes sense with the fact that it seems like they're adding concessions again of 2 months. So it says they have 122 units available out of 595. So 122 divided by 595. Yeah, they're 21% vacant, so they're unstable, and that's a huge problem. If we're saying that it's very small units, and on the lower side, it's like 1,800, and on the higher side, you're probably looking in the, like 2,000, 24, 25, and you do have a lot. Probably an average rental price of like 2,400. 595 times 2,400, you should be running at a 35% OPEX. Your monthly NOI is 928 times 12, 11 million of NOI, and let's say it's a new build, it should be, institutional grade, cement high rise, but let's just put it at a 5 cap. Total development, stabilized value should be around 220 million. And currently, if 20% of that is missing, you have again, $46 million gap of economic value. And on a cash flow basis, if you had 11 million of NOI to pay off your mortgage, to pay off your lenders, to pay off your LPs, you have a hole of 21%. So you have $2.3 million cash flow missing when these 122 units stay vacant. So per month, $192,000 missing a month. So, having a little bit more of an attention and a focus on creating a comprehensive marketing plan, having appointment setters, people answering as soon as the lead comes in, you have to do it because it's clearly a dogfight in this area. I wouldn't want to just be a generic product. I would want to find a way to elevate myself because, just look at the screenshot. It's within 4 blocks, there's 800 rentals available. So, it's a competitive concession environment. It's a competitive new build environment. And it's literally the people who get to a lead first and stand out, they're going to do well. So let's go and look on just a normal search. If I'm a renter coming to DC, I'm going to write Navy Yard apartment. Wait, is this managed by JBG Smith? So it was developed by the Toll Brothers, but who manages it? That's my question. Okay, so it's managed by Bozzuto, so one of the strong national providers in DC. Good management, but nothing special. They manage 1 out of 3 buildings in DC, so it's not like you're gonna have tender loving care, TLC, huge hands-on team. It's just gonna be run-of-the-mill. So maybe you have a good on-site staff, who knows? But if I go back to my search, if I'm coming in, Blue Grounds first, JBG Live Azure, National Landing, Hello Landing, which is corporate housing, and then Zillow, apartments.com, Brookfield, Novell, Irby, and then in last position on the first page is Park Riverside. So at least they made it to the first page, but in the situation where 20% of the building is vacant, before leasing season, I think actual plan needs to be put in place where there's more of you being at the top and competing above apartments.com, above Zillow and all that. So let's just draw a boundary. Let's see for fun, if we say July 1st, how many are turning over? Yeah, so 136. So it really sounds like either they didn't time their leases that well because there's not that many turnover of leases during the summer and there's a lot of turnover right now. So it's either lease up never stabilized or when they did sign leases, they didn't really care to think or suggest moving a lease end date towards the months that are warmer, which, there might not be a ton of snow in DC right now, but it's still really cold and people don't want to move at this time of the year. So in terms of lease timing, that's a huge important thing that you need to think of. And it's a piece of value for you is when you're signing someone, think about when the lease is ending. And at that moment, if the person doesn't renew, is that an easy moment for someone new to come in? If it's not, you have to suggest a longer term, give an incentive to have a longer term, to have your lease finish in the right timing, or even have a lower lease term, which is counterintuitive, but so that you're re-signing people at the right time. Your lease end date is really important. And most of the time, if you do a good job, people stay and they continue, right? But the lease end dates is really something that I find needs to be worked on. And it's a little bit of a training point for staff, but they need to care about when their leases end. So going back to this, let's just have a look at the website. Let's try to see what's different about Park Riverside versus others. So website, you come in, you see the common areas, and it looks nice, but it's very generic. I don't really know what's different about this building versus another. And there's no call of price for a unit, book a tour now. I see schedule your tour, but I still don't see a price. At least I could schedule a tour, that's fine. But now I'm scrolling in, and then, living residences, luxury apartments. Every apartment building is luxury, so that doesn't mean anything. And view floor plans. Some of these pictures are renderings, I think, or they're just very, very flat. And yeah, I'm scrolling in, no price point, no availability, gallery. It's the 4th time that I see it's the Toll Brothers. For a renter, I don't care about Toll Brothers. I care about this building. Talking to me about the Toll Brothers advantage, reading their story. I don't really care. The #1 resident reviewed property management company, Bozzuto. I could get you a lot of reviews telling you. So I'm on this property page. It looks okay. It's a bit of a dated website. The content seems to be tired, but there's not any call to action. So that's a big thing. That's not great. And I don't see availability. So again, probably means floor plans. So if I go to floor plans, yeah, this is embedded with their leasing platform. So automatically is a little bit chunkier and slower to kind of load. But let's say I'm looking for a 1-bedroom and I'm looking to move in March 1st. Okay, Sunday, March 1st. How many do you have available? Got 72 units for March 1st. And if I go pricing from low to high, the cheapest 1-bedroom is G74. Cheapest one is at 2,077, and then the most expensive one is facing inwards to the courtyard, 2,900. So let's just try to see, do they have a virtual tour? What do they have? A Matterport. It's loading. Okay, there's a little walkthrough video. The thing that's annoying about a walkthrough video is you literally want the person walking through. Instead, what they did is at different places in the unit, they like filmed a bit, so you don't really have a sense of space. The best walkthrough video is you come in and it starts with the unit number, the person walks in, and they show you the entire unit. Here, this is not what they did. They just filmed from different areas. Fine, but if I want to have an idea of what it looks like, this isn't ideal. And I would also want a virtual visit, like a Matterport. I don't see that they've done it. What I do see is on their page for Riverside on apartments.com, it sounds like they have the common areas with Matterport, so you can see, right? They only have 7 virtual tours, where definitely you should have a virtual tour for each unit type. So I have an idea of like what it looks like. Then when I'm interested in one, then you send me the exact walkthrough of that one unit. So let's just see what the common areas look like. Like, it's obviously a nice building, right? But just like every other brand new nice building, in terms of positioning, I find it very generic. I don't see anything standing out. They're generic because they're safe. They're trying to be everything for everyone. So what does it give? It gives this. It's loading. But like the resident lounge literally looks like the United Lounge at the airport. So it looks like an airport lounge. Like, it's nice, but there's no personality. You don't feel like you're in someone's home or like in a man cave or just like, so hardwood floors, all the furniture blends in. Okay, so it's like a beautiful big lounge. Look at this bar, like a crazy big bar, but it's super generic. Like, I would want to give an actual use to this. Like you're next to the ballpark. So there's 164 games in the home season of the Nationals. 164 games in the regular season, which means that there's 82 home games for the Nationals. You're right next to it. So if that's the play and every building's playing it safe and there's no kind of like sports-centric building, let's deck this one out. Like, let's make this one all about sports. And so, like, obviously there's baseball, right? So like, why not use the space? And instead of having this like boring booth, what if this was a, indoor golf simulator and the screen's right there? You come in and people are maybe not ideal because right in the entrance, but what about a golf simulator? I'm pretty sure now golf simulators can also have a pitcher's mound and can actually like throw baseballs. Like, at the back here hidden, they have a pool table, which like looks nice. And look, they have 2-3 pictures of like old school baseball pictures, but like I would want more. And yes, by all means, it will get fucked up by residents over time, but that means they're using it. That means it's great. Now you just look at it, it looks like nobody wants to go in there. Like, why would you even want to go in here? There's one TV in the entire, oh no, there's 2 TVs. 3, there's 3 TVs. You need to put some soul. There needs to be more than this. This looks boring. I would never want to hang out here. So what can we do to make it better? That's the question. And it's a huge space, so maybe we split it up. And then what kind of events are happening? Like, this seems like a poker table, but is there anything happening at the property? When I go on the website, do I see that? So if it's like young professionals really close to downtown, kind of semi-far from the capital, but like you're still in a great location, I think you want to give more soul to it. So there's an entire bar with frosted glass, no shelving, no nothing. Yeah, I don't think it's a pricing thing. I think it's a flavor thing. You need to give a positioning for me to remember Park Riverside. So not everybody's gonna lease up, right? There's 2,300 units vacant. They're not all gonna stay vacant. Let's say half of them lease. That's 1,200 units being leased. I only need my 122 Park Riverside units to be leased. So that means I have to be first on the ads. I have to be quicker to answer the leads. When I'm touring, I have to give a story so that when they're then going to the next building, your building stands out. I can't just put a frame of an MLB stadium and like some old school picture. That's not enough. So I have to create a story and then give great service, because that is a very cheap way to make yourself stand out, so that now your price looks like a bargain, because the other generic copycats, like the faded copies, they don't look the same and they're charging the same. So my playbook typically is I usually increase the rents, but I give more value in terms of experience, customer service, and just like the whole vibe. So the bones of this place is great. Dude, look at the gym. Yeah, so this is like proper old school gym equipment. It's not even techno gym, right? So if techno gym is the Subway, this is like the sandwiches at your this is like the sandwiches at your grocery store, like in the little plastic container, right? So it's fine, but this is exactly the gym equipment that we kicked out of the unit we repositioned, and we put in CrossFit equipment and like yoga, Pilates, and like colorful things. So the gym is extremely boring. There is nothing special about it. Also, like one squat rack for 600 residents, that doesn't work. The gym looks extremely small for the size of the building. Same thing, the pool, the chairs on the pool look terrible. This is like a huge pet peeve of mine. It's disgusting. Yes, you could use AI to make it better, but realistically, you have a $46 million problem again. You have 200 grand a month of missing rent. Buy newer pool chairs and do a good job. Resand your pool area so the wooden floors don't look like they were delivered before you were born, and like do a better job. You know, there needs to be events. There needs to be something special. Yeah, so there's the lounge, there's a gym. Looks like there's a second gym on the rooftop. It's just as boring as the ground floor gym, and that's it. There's nothing else. So improve the amenities, improve the service, make it clear right from the website that you do events, you do something, and then by all means, create a positioning of what you are and what you're not. If you are for quiet people that need to study, well, you can't be that because you're next to the ballpark and you're gonna have drunken people walk all over the place. So like be all about the action, right in the action, right into sports. So like give me golf simulators, make them outfitted so I could, practice pitches. Give me sports and make it all about sports so that it's unique and it stands out. And then, like what do you do about pets? Everybody in DC has dogs. I didn't see a dog park. I didn't see anything relative to that. So what do I do with that? Give me more, be first on the ads, and hurry up because you're losing a lot of money. So let's go.